Awesome. You just picked up your new Stanliner tools, but now you're home. What do you do with them? Well, without a little bit of guidance, there's a good chance that you won't know what to do. So here's a bit of guidance. Hey, what's going on, Jim? Real World PDR. So this one was by request. One of you had asked to see some of these Stanliner techniques from the bottom of the panel. So I'm gonna go ahead and deliver that. I'm gonna try to make this one quick. Basically, I'm gonna use a pirate hook with a slow bend and one of the door tools, but I'm gonna show you some of that rubbing, dragging technique, also how to get rid of these creases using the pirate hook and the killer whale tail, kind of same technique. Okay, so let's start out with your pirate hook. Now, this is really simple enough. This isn't as difficult as people like to think it is, but one thing to remember is we're not sliding this along the bottom of the panel, even though it kind of looks that way. This is actually gonna be a roll. So we're gonna be rolling this tool along the contour of that curve on top there. You'll see. So all the way along the edge there, right up here. Now, if you notice, right through there, it gets a little sharper. So you can see where this tool is shaved right around here to more of a precision edge. So I find that the very end here is where you're gonna get the most sharpness, the most precision out of this tool. So that's where I generally like to finish it up. I like to try to keep it in the meat here when I'm getting the bulk of something out. Now, unfortunately, the way that this dent is oriented on the panel, I'm gonna be using a lot of that sharp side, but that's okay. So, okay, second one is kind of a hybrid technique that I've come up with. Now, I'm not even sure the name of this tool, but it's got this smooth side. And then when you turn it over, a sharper point here for fine tuning work, right? More like a blade style. So with this though, you can actually do the same kind of rolling thing, and that's gonna take care of creases for you. But in this situation, we're actually just gonna be kind of rubbing it along the bottom there. We're gonna pick up larger bits of metal cleaner. If we have any cleanup work to do, we'll just flip this guy over, use it as a normal twister. So these techniques really aren't that difficult. I ended up having to figure them out myself just by kind of paying attention to the tools. Now, what I'd like to mention about Stanliner tools is whenever you get them, they're not gonna be this aha moment where it just changes your life as soon as you pick them up. Pay attention to the mistakes that you make while you're using your Stanliner tools, and then really think about how you can use those mistakes to benefit your repair. That's pretty much how I figured it out. Also, just look at the tools. Look at them, really try to figure out, get inside Kaz's head, figure out what he was going for. That just comes from trial and error. I basically force myself to use these new tools whenever I get them. Another thing I do is I make sure that whenever I get a Stanliner tool, I take any tool that is even similar, that's not a Stanliner tool, off my tool cart. I don't want to be tempted to fall back into my own ways, my old ways. I want to use the Stanliner tool because more often than not what I found is that the Stanliner technique is indeed better. Okay, let's get this thing started. Now, most of this video is going to be focused on the bottom of the panel so you can actually see what's going on. I'm going to get as much of that as I can. I can guarantee you the video is going to be a little bit dark because I don't have any special lights to light it up with, but hopefully there's something to learn here. So I try not to smoke too much in these videos. But it's late at night, we are well closed. Frank is here for, I don't know, because he likes hanging around with me. And this is who I am. I'm trying to get out of here, and I need a cigarette. Let's talk about the killer whale tail. All right, killer whale tail is gonna work and operate in a lot of the same ways that your pirate hook will. This one has proven to be a little bit more useful to me because there's a lot of different techniques that I'm not gonna go over right now, but some are the dragging, you can even do a little bit of the blending with this. A lot of different shit can happen with this. Now, which one should you buy if you had to buy one? Whichever one they have, because frankly, these are pretty situational. This, again, you're gonna use a bit more, and they don't come into stock that often. So chances are, if you don't have the money for both right now, if you only have enough money to buy one right now, buy it. And then by the time you save enough money to buy the next one, maybe if you're lucky, they will have come out with a new batch of the next one. If you have a choice of two, I'd go ahead and choose this one. So it's gonna work the same way. with that rocking motion. Come on, camera, get up in there. This rocking motion right there. So that'll be the edge that you're riding. That's not even in focus, but deal with it. Just like so. Now I'm gonna get both of those up under that panel so you can see them both in action. The Pyro hook is gonna be your more precision tool. You can actually still pull off some direct push with this, but it's not the most useful thing in the world for that. All right, let's go ahead and do this. All right, so this is where this tool shines. Any kind of crease work like this, it's gonna blow your freaking mind. Now, on that huge key offender that I did, I use this a lot, and with that technique, it's more of a dragging technique. Now imagine reaching to the other side of a pile of leaves and pulling those leaves back towards you. So obviously that's the interior of the metal. So that's the technique, that I used with that key offender. This is altogether different. Let's check it out. Now I could have pushed harder and got a lot more of this up all at once, but I wanted to leave enough real estate so I could show you how this pirate hook worked as well. So as you can see here, I am very simply rolling this tool A to B, left to right, whatever way makes sense for it in your head. So check out left screen here. You see the tool is actually shaped like this. So this is what I mean by pay attention to the tool. It's pretty obvious that it kind of wants to do this for you. As I mentioned, once you get out towards the outer edges of this tool, you're going to generate more power. So if you're looking for something to get in a sharper little line, little crease, that's about where you're going to want to be with the killer whale tail. But for the most part, playing it safe right there in the center is going to get you a lot of action on that metal very, very, very cleanly. Again, I could have pushed this way faster. Okay, so that was a peek at the killer whale tail. It's a good tool, really good tool. So I could have got a lot more of that to come up a lot quicker, but I wanted to leave some real estate available for your pirate hook. So next thing you're going to see is the pirate hook doing about the same damn job, just a little differently. So I have found this tool to be much more precision oriented because of that blade that they've put there on the face. So if you happen upon a crease that has a tighter little center in it, this is the tool that you're going to want to have for that. Now, the killer whale will get you damn near all the way there, but if you're looking to finish it, hey, this is your animal right here. Now here's a cool thing, not cool, here's a thing to point out. When you're using Stanliner tools, and I say this because I've made this mistake before, slow down. The first time you start burning through a crease dent with this pirate hook or this killer whale tail or one of the other whale tails or whatever, you're going to feel like, man, I can just fly through this thing. Well, listen here. You are already so far ahead of where you would be using any normal techniques with direct pushing that it makes absolutely zero sense to try to speed this thing up and potentially cause texture that you weren't intending. If you go back on this YouTube channel, you're going to see a part 1 of 3 Stanliner tutorial where I fixed a much gnarlier crease dent than this using Stanliner tools. Well, in that very tutorial, I tried to rush through much too fast and I ended up causing some texture that didn't need to be there. Just basically missing the pit of that crease, which as long as you're doing short little rotations at a time, we're talking about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch at a time, it's really not hard to be extremely accurate with this tool. Now, keep in mind, these tools are pretty situational. I have the entire door taken apart off of the car on a stand. For that reason alone, I tell you that you need to learn how to fix a dent, a crease dent, the more conventional way also. Relying on this technique with this tool isn't always really plausible. 1, you might not have R&I access. 2, as you see here, I barely was able to reach it because of that brace. You can see that my tool was actually hitting the brace, and had it been any closer to that brace, no bueno, wasn't going to happen. There are other Stanliner tools that work really great in that kind of situation, but the techniques, the repairs aren't near as simple as it is with these kind of tools. So any of you super keen-eyed observers probably noticed that on my pirate hook, the second time you saw it in this video, it was actually bent a little bit more than it was the first time. That was to make it a little more accessible to this area. Basically, I curved around that brace a little more. Now, note, Stanliner does not recommend this. I've actually talked to Thomas about it. But to me, every tool that is hanging on my wall, on my cart, whatever, is a tool. It has to do the job, and if I have to bend it to do the job, that's what we're going to do. So if you do decide to bend your Stanliner tool, I've talked to another member of the Stanliner crew, and he says absolutely only do it cold. Now, I'm not saying put your tool in a freezer. What I'm saying is don't heat it up. Don't get your torch out and ruin the temper of these tools. I have bent several of my Stanliner tools, and I've had zero issues thus far. Now, I'm not telling you that you won't. I'm not saying that it's not going to void some kind of warranty that you have with Stanliner or anything. I'm not telling you shit other than this is what I do. Now coming up here, you're going to see that I am actually going to direct push with just a little bit, just kind of using the edge there. Now I'm not directly on the edge, even though it kind of looks like in this video. I'm kind of over on the corner a bit. So I'm actually getting a nice little round push off of the edge of this tool. It is not super useful, but if you only have a couple little spots to poke up, it's going to be a lot more efficient than grabbing another tool. So I think I did mention before that this was one of my members' requests, and it actually took me a couple weeks to get to it. Actually, there you just saw me do a little bit of dragging. That's also a really great Stanliner technique. This was one of the member requests. I try to get to these as often as possible. This one took a couple weeks, which is a little bit longer than I'd like to go. Okay, hopefully that was a good demo for you. We'll see what the footage looks like from underneath, but actually ended up using more of the killer whale just because it was easier to see under there. Now remember, the pirate hook and the killer whale are gonna do a lot of the same things. So if you didn't like what you saw with this for some reason and you like the pirate hook better, you're ridiculous and hard to please. Okay, now on to this tool here. Frank, do you wanna get in the scene? Is that what you were doing there? You wanna come on? You wanna get in here?
Yeah.
Let's get Frank some attention because he's the one who makes it all possible. Hey there, Frank.
Hi guys, it's me.
Okay, so we tried this out with a couple different angles. It is hard AF to see. So you're probably not gonna see the panel working too much, but you are going to see the bottom of the panel. It was one or the other, and you asked for the bottom of the panel. So that's what you're getting. All right, let's do it. So the reason I make that loud noise is so I can match up the cameras, because you match it up via the audio. This is something I didn't know before. No, now you know. Hey Frank.
Yes sir.
No, get in here. Show them where. See, look, I'm working right over Frank's head for you people. This is awkward. All right, let's go. So what I'm gonna do here, let's see if you can make sure you can see that a little bit, is I'm actually just kind of pulling just like that. See, I'm not even looking right now because I'm doing very little fixing. But I'm actually just kind of pulling that soft side, and I can drag it like so. And that dragging motion, and sometimes it helps if you get a little wiggle, is doing about the same thing. So I'm picking up this crease with very little chance of any kind of stitching, which is cool. Also, you can do a direct push. It's got that soft side to it, so you're not really putting any little pimples in there. But if it came down to it, I could flip this tool around just like so. You still see, Frank?
Yeah.
All right. And get some really accurate pushes here with that sharper side. So most Stanliner tools, now I've just found a place I can do this, so I might as well talk about it. The very tip of that tool is probably gonna be hard to see. I'll just pull it out. Just pull it out, Frank. So the very tip of this tool, this long blade radius here, you can make these teeny, tiny little back and forth motions, and you're gonna get these half moon things. I think I have a better tool for it here. Nope. It's on the wall. Maybe not. I never freaking know where any of my tools are. Why? Because the Stanliners are pretty damn popular around the shop. Okay, let's throw this in here. See what we can. This actually ends up being a pretty piss poor example of what this tool can do. This is a large circle tool. They have a lot of them, and they are actually badass. I didn't see that. That's useless, Frank. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay, so the teeny tiny little end of the tool there does the same thing as this. Get out of there, Frank. Why is it auto-focusing on you? Jeez. So it does the same thing as this little fella is gonna do, but this is gonna be obviously much bigger. So if you roll it back and forth like so, is the tool moving or is everybody moving? Nobody knows. So if you roll it back and forth like so, you're gonna end up with these little half moons, right? Yep. So these little half moons, you just bring them on towards you, and you're picking up a whole lot of area all at once. Now, you're not gonna get the same kind of texture that you would with a direct push, little poke marks. Worst case scenario, you're gonna end up with this little half moon high spot. There's Frank, he's still down there. What a weirdo. So again, Stanliner tools, all multifunctional. That's kind of what makes them beautiful and makes the price not as intimidating. Because every time you pick up a Stanliner tool, you're picking up like 2 or 3 other tools, 2 or 3 uses per tool. I think you get what I'm trying to say there. It is late. We gotta get home. Frank, we gotta get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's the entire video. Told you I was gonna keep it short. Hopefully you can see why this is cool. And if you can't, well, I'll try it. Bye. The one and only reason that I posted this onto YouTube instead of just the members only page at realworldpdr.com is because I know a lot of you just got back from MTE having just picked up some Stanliner tools, and it would be a damn shame if you didn't have a clue how to use them. I am actually going to take down a couple of other YouTube tutorials in exchange for this one and make them exclusive content. So if you want all that content, go to realworldpdr.com. Thank you for your support now and in the future. It means everything to me. I'll see you later.